Hi, I'm Mitch Shoemaker, and today is day 5 of my doing 100 days of YouTube videos and celebrating myself. So, yay, I made it to day 5. This is take 2 because my phone hates me. So, seriously, I don't know, I spent like 10 minutes trying to figure out what the heck to do with my phone. This decided it suddenly ran out of space and could not let me finish my video, and then it would not let me make another video to edit together until I deleted a whole bunch of stuff that doesn't even make sense because I don't even want it on my phone in the first place. So it's all the stupid updates. The phone keeps updating and updating, and then the system is taking up way too much space and not my stuff. So I need to go get one of those SD cards or something to have more space on my phone. I'm aware of things that I need to do. So today I am celebrating that I'm aware of things. So kind of a random, odd thing to be celebrating, I think. I did a nice long 34-minute video about it, and now I'm probably going to do a nice 10-minute video because I don't want to do it all over again. So I apologize. You're getting the shortened version. Maybe it's better you're getting the shortened version instead of the long, emotional, crazy version. But I really wasn't sure what to celebrate today, and the word aware just kept popping into my head that I need to be um, aware. And then in realizing that I'm aware of things, it's celebrating that I'm aware of things is, my brain is frozen. I apologize. I did this already. It's like I'm done. It's kind of like, you vent, you write, you process something, and then it's out of your system and you're done. So I'm like, I did my video, I'm done, but I have to do it again because it didn't work, and I didn't want to post a video that I didn't finish. I'm like, it's not done. It didn't end. I was probably a few minutes away from ending it. So now I have to remember how to start all over again. Uh, and I know, obviously, I've started this way differently than the last one, and hopefully I don't ramble as long as the last one because I don't want my video phone thing to do this again. So anyway, I am aware. I'm aware that I have a lot of issues, but I'm also aware of things that being aware of things in my life allows me to have a different perspective. It allows me to deal with things a little bit differently. Um, and I don't always make different choices just because I'm aware of things. I am aware that sometimes I don't make the best choices for myself. I'm aware that I don't always like the results of my choices. I'm choosing to use the word results instead of consequences or outcome of my choices because I like those words a little bit better because all choices have consequences, good or bad, but consequences just has a negative connotation to me. So whatever my choices are, there is a result, there is an outcome based on, action, reaction kind of a thing. So I am aware of that. I'm grateful for things that I am aware of because I have realized as doing my videos, my gratitude videos, my writing, and especially focusing on today, it made me aware of all the times that God was aware of me in my life and all of the little miracles that happen in my life because I am aware of things. Because I'm being aware of myself, it allows me to be more gentle with myself. It allows me to understand myself better. Um, it allows me, or rather, it allows God to give me or show me a different perspective of things. It allows me to have more of an open mind towards myself and to other people. So I am grateful that I can be aware of things. And in my other video, I shared a couple of analogies, so I will attempt to do that with my little awareness thing. Those are things that I did when I wrote in my journal because I was disappointed about things that didn't go the way I wanted to today. And so I could feel myself going into a state of depression or wanting to go into a state of depression because I have depression. That's just something I have to deal with. But anyway, I wrote in my journal, and in writing in my journal, it helped me to become aware of my triggers. And even though I don't necessarily know what's triggering me today with all of that, I'm aware that I have choices. I'm aware that I can respond differently. And I was made aware or reminded of some analogies that I've heard either from church or 12-step programs or somewhere I'm really bad at remembering where I heard things from. So I apologize if I don't tell you who I heard these things from. I'm not trying to steal credit from what someone else did, but I'm just trying to share something that makes sense to me. So one of the stories is the boulder, the man that's told to push against the boulder, like God tells him to push against this boulder. So he goes up the mountain to this path and he pushes against this boulder every day for weeks, months, years. And finally, he just gets really frustrated because no matter how many times he goes up and pushes on this boulder every day, the boulder does not move. It just does not move. And so he complains to God about this. And God's response is that he never told him. He's like, I never told you to move the boulder. I just told you to push against the boulder. Because pushing against the boulder has built up your stamina. It has built up your strength. Look at all the muscle that you have gained because you have been pushing against this boulder. Look at how much more energy you have. Look at the ability that has been increased for like your increased ability to do things because you have been pushing up against this boulder. The exercise, the intent was never to move the boulder. So tonight, being aware of that, it made me aware that there's things in my life that are like that boulder, like depression, anxiety, um, PTSD. And these are things that I have. These are boulders in my life um, that oftentimes I feel like they're crushing me. They take over, they flatten me, and I cannot function because they are just so heavy. But in becoming aware of them, in pushing against them, I have been developing strength, abilities. I have become aware of other resources, other people in my life that can help me and support me through this. I have been given strength. God has given me strength and courage to push against these boulders. And they're not going to be removed. Depression will not ever be removed from my life. But I can recognize when I'm being triggered, like tonight, and I can choose to let my depression turn into or disappointment turn into a state of depression where I just kind of turn my head to the wall. Not really, but it kind of feels like I'm just like going to lay down and do nothing and just give up on my life for who knows how many days or weeks or months. I feel that way. But tonight it was probably a couple of hours and that was it, which is it's amazing because I chose to write in my journal. I was like, I'm not going to do this. I need to write in my journal. I need to make my video. I am aware that I am fighting depression right now because I am disappointed because I've had like 2 hours of sleep and I have not been able to let myself sleep today, probably because I have a bunch of anxiety because things just aren't working out the way that I want them to. So I'm aware of all of these things going on in my life, but I was also aware that I had choices, that I did not have to let all of these things spin around and overwhelm me, that I had choices, and I chose to write in my journal. I chose to let God remind me of stories and analogies that work for me in my life. I chose to let that talent of writing work for me to give me a different perspective, to let go, to realize that once again, that I don't have control of the outcome. God has control of the outcome. I get to make the choice, but I don't always have control of what the outcome is going to be for that choice. Um, but I chose to push up against that depression. I chose not to let it fall on top of me, let that boulder crush me tonight. And I know that I can go to bed and not be depressed and not be discouraged. Maybe a little frustrated because things aren't working out the way that I want them to, but it doesn't have to be the way that I want them to. That's me looking at the boulder expecting it to move instead of knowing that it's just going to be there, and I get to build muscles and strength and other abilities to deal with the boulder that's never going to move. So it's just being aware of that is very helpful. It allows me to be much more gentle with myself. It also reminds me that I need to be more aware of where my focus is, because if my focus is on trying to move the boulder, I'm just going to keep being frustrated because it's not going to move. Um, but if I can change my focus on the strength that I have, the strength that God has given me, being aware of the other resources that I have, being aware of my choices, being aware of my goals and things that I want to reach, and choosing to work towards those instead. um, it it gives me, it allows me to let go, or to not let those boulders in life crush me. They're still there. I don't know that they will ever go away. And I may still have days where I feel like totally flattened by one of those things. But but I don't have to stay flattened. I don't have to stay buried. I can get back up and keep moving. Another analogy that kind of goes along with all of this, or maybe doesn't go along with all of this, but one that came to mind when I was journaling. I think Elder Uchtdorf said it in the conference talk, but I could be wrong. It could be from something else entirely. So, again, don't know where I'm getting these. But it's about, or maybe my sister told me, I don't know, that she read something somewhere. I don't know. Anyway, it's about autopilot, like on airplanes. The autopilot is actually only on course 5% of the time. The other 95% of the time, it is making tiny course corrections because it's off course. It's not flying straight towards whatever the destination is. And it's either because it overcorrects, so it has to like go back to get to the correct one, or because there's weather, inclement weather, or wind, or something like that, downdrafts, whatever, that interfere with the straight course. So it's constantly doing course corrections. And to me, I feel like being aware of what's going on in my life, being aware of things that I struggle with, being aware of my goals and other things like that, allows me to be open to course corrections. It allows me to be aware of God in my life and how He is taking care of things so I don't have to worry about them, but also aware that God is guiding me in what I'm doing, in doing these videos, in choosing to celebrate myself. I mean, when I did my 100 days of focusing on today, that is not what I was going to do. I was going to do 100 days of marketing, and that did not work out at all. It ended up being 100 days of today, and then I ended up being sick for most of that, and so it totally changed my focus of how I was going to focus on today. Like, none of that turned out the way that I wanted it to. And so with this celebrating, I keep trying to figure out, okay, what am I going to learn from this? And I still have no idea. But I'm aware that I don't have any idea. I'm aware that this is something I feel inspired to do by God, and I'm aware that every day He puts some thought in my head and said, like today, like, what am I going to celebrate? I don't feel like celebrating today. I'm tired, I can't function, I can't focus, I can't sleep. And the only word that pops into my head is aware. I am aware. And I'm like, what am I going to do with aware? Aware of what? How do I celebrate being aware? And then, of course, writing in my journal, and that came to mind, that I am aware of my choices. I am aware of the consequences, the responses, I forgot my choices. I'm aware that I have choices, and I am aware that there are different outcomes to my choices, that I don't have control over those things. And being aware of things that I don't have control over, like boulders, depression, emotions, inability to sleep sometimes. Being aware of that being aware that I'm not in control of those things helps me to let go of the frustration, because I'm frustrated that I can't control things. I'm frustrated I can't force myself to do things that I would like to get done. And then being aware that I'm not in control of those things allows me to let go of that frustration, allows me to stop trying to fight myself, to force myself, allows me to accept that I will get there when I'm ready to. And also that all of these mistakes or these things that I'm frustrated with, maybe they're just opportunities for God to do little course corrections that takes me back to the tortoise and the hare. I am the tortoise. I am taking slow, little baby steps. I am making tiny little course corrections. And over time, those things that I'm working on, those little course corrections, are being internalized into me, and my responses are different. I am having healthier responses, different responses, in some cases better responses. I'm not overreacting as much. I'm not giving in as much. The depression is not having as much power and control. It's not crushing me like it used to. Lots of things that I am becoming aware of. And I do realize that just because I'm aware of things, or I'm aware that I want things to be different, doesn't mean that I'm going to change overnight. It doesn't mean that everything's going to be different. There's that whole Al-Anon thing that you have to become aware first, and then you accept it, and then you can take some action to change it. But if you're not aware that there's a problem, if you're not aware that you are stuck in a state of denial, or not aware that you don't have control over something, you're not open to course corrections, not open to changing. So I'm grateful that I'm aware of things, even if I don't always make choices to fix them. I'm aware of them, and I'm very aware of my choices, which didn't always used to be aware of my choices, and I didn't always like the idea of having choices. And now I'm grateful that I have choices, and I'm grateful to be aware of my choices. I'm grateful to be aware of the outcomes of my choices, and knowing that I have options, and that just because things didn't work out the way that I want them to doesn't mean they're not working out for the best, or it doesn't mean that I can't make a course correction and do things differently. I'm not stuck with a particular outcome. I don't have to be stuck or trapped under a boulder. I don't have to let those things, disappointments or other things, take over. I don't have to let my emotions be in control. I need to be aware of my emotions. I need to be aware of what I'm feeling. And I am more aware of that. I am more aware of my needs. I'm more aware of when I'm hungry and when I'm tired. Much more aware of those things. Doesn't mean I always get something to eat when I know I'm hungry. Doesn't mean that I always sleep when I know I'm tired. But I am aware of these things, and I'm grateful that I can be aware of them, because that awareness allows me to have a different perspective, allows God to show me a different perspective, a different way to respond to things, to obtain a different reaction, a different response, a different outcome. Um, can't think of words tonight. I apologize. I said I already did this once. It's kind of hard to do it again. Um, but I am grateful to be aware of all of these things in my life, and I'm grateful that that awareness allows me to make course corrections. It allows me to see that I'm building muscles, that I am getting stronger, that things that used to overwhelm me and crush me are no longer as overwhelming or crushing as they used to be. And they may still be there, they may always be there, but they don't have to be in control, and they don't have to stand in my way or prevent me from moving forward. I don't have to use them as excuses. I still do. Sometimes I still do. I will be honest, I do. But I don't have to. I'm aware that I have choices, and I am aware that I am in the process of making changes, and I'm aware that change does not happen overnight, and I am no longer expecting change to happen overnight. I know there's a part of me that still would like it to, still thinks I'm Wonder Woman and I can do everything, and then I'm aware that I have limitations and I can't do everything, and that things don't always work out the way that I want them to. But I'm aware that I'm not in control of those outcomes, and all I can do is my best. And as long as I'm aware of my choices, and that I feel like I'm making the best choices for the moment, for the day. And I don't always feel like I'm making the best choices. I'm not gonna, not putting myself up on a pedestal here. I don't always make the best choices, but I'm aware that I can make better choices. I'm aware of the choices that I'm making and the outcomes or the results of those choices. So I have the option to make different choices or better choices. And maybe at some point in the future, I will start doing that. But I'm aware that it takes time, and it starts with being aware. I have to start with being aware that I need to make change, and or just being aware that this is how I am, and then accept that this is how I am, or accept that I'm like, okay, if I continue to make these choices, this is the result that I'm going to get. And if I don't like the result, then I need to take some action to change. So being aware, I think, is the first step in being open to a course correction, to making a change. But it's just a step, and it's like the autopilot. I'm going to keep overcorrecting and having to get back on course multiple times before I get it right, towards whatever my goal or my destination is. And I may be off course 95% of the time, but as long as I keep my focus on the destination and where I'm trying to get to, I will be okay. And God will continue to point me in that direction as long as I am aware that I'm off course. But if I'm not aware that I'm off course, I'm headed to crash. It's like I'm going the wrong way. I'm focused on the wrong thing, and I don't even see it because I'm not aware that I'm off course. So I'm grateful for the awareness that I have been granted, the awareness that I have been learning and seeing the changes that I have been making and the different responses that I have had since I started doing my gratitude videos almost a year ago. Um, and the attitude that I have now, and the fact that I could, be disappointed that things didn't work out the way that I wanted to, even frustrated that I couldn't get my videos to work, but still willing to be like, okay, I have choices. I can make another video. It's going to be okay. I can I can write in my journal. I don't have to let the depression take over. I don't have to let this be the end. Things just aren't going to work out quite the way that I wanted them to, but God has shown me over 100 days of focusing on today how He has taken care of everything and all the amazing miracles because He is aware of me. And now I get to learn how to be as aware of myself as God is aware of me, and also aware of all the other people that love me and care about me and support me. And I don't have to keep focusing on the unhealthy people or the situations that didn't work out the way that I wanted them to, because I don't have control over that, and I don't have control over other people, but I don't have to allow those people in my life because I am aware of how toxic that is for me and how unhealthy that is for me, how much that hurts me, and I don't have to continue to put myself in that situation. And I'm aware that I have friends and family that love me, that support me, that encourage me, that are just, waiting for me to get my books published, that are excited for me, that are cheering me on while I'm doing this, celebrating myself. Um, and having that awareness is just, it's amazing. Um, it's amazing to be aware of myself, and I'm really, really grateful for that awareness. And I know I'm still becoming aware of new things all the time and changes that I'm making and aha moments, or like I said, a lot of the changes are very subtle and they're happening because they're little tiny baby steps, and then all of a sudden one day I'm like, it's gone from a concept in my brain to being something that I do automatically, like my gratitude I just do automatically. And now I'm just trusting God that every day I'm going to wake up and I'm going to know where all I have to do is say a prayer and I'm going to know what I need to celebrate for the day. I don't have to worry about what I'm going to celebrate for the next 95 days because God is going to give me something that I need to be aware of, something that I need to celebrate, something to help me see myself the way that He sees me, to see the positive things in my life, to know that the mistakes or the struggles that I'm having are course corrections, or they're there. Well, the mistakes are just opportunities for course corrections. And I just need to keep my focus on the end goal. And the struggles and things that I'm having may be boulders that are there to help build my strength, to give me more stamina to deal with things so that I don't feel crushed by those things. But they may never go away. They might. Maybe someday God will remove those boulders, but they might be replaced with other ones. But they're there for me to build my strength, to increase in stamina, to get stronger, healthier, to not be so overwhelmed by things. And I'm aware that that's working very slowly, but it's working. It's getting internalized into me, and it's amazing to see that slowly take effect. And it's like, it doesn't seem like it's slowly. It seems like it's kind of overnight. It isn't. I know it isn't. So I'm like, I'm struggling, and all of a sudden I'm like, wait, I'm okay. I'm a little frustrated. I'm a little annoyed, but I'm okay. This is a different response. This is a different reaction. This is awesome. But I'm aware of that, and I'm aware of the struggle, and I'm aware that because I continue to struggle, because I continue to push against these boulders, that I am getting stronger, that I am doing better, and I can see that in myself, and I'm grateful for that awareness and how it is blessing my life and giving me new perspectives, and helping me to see the good things in myself, and to know that even the mistakes or the other things that I'm doing may just be because I'm off course a little bit, maybe because there's winds of change, because there's storms of life, because there's boulders that I will never be able to get rid of, but they're there to help me to grow and to learn. And it's just a matter of where is my focus, what is my perspective, am I aware of what course I'm taking, or am I lost in some storm? And I'm aware that even if I feel lost, that God is there guiding me, and all I have to do is listen to that still small voice, and it will work out okay. Because it's been working out okay, and He's been giving me something to celebrate every single day. So I'm grateful that I could be aware of things today and to celebrate that awareness and what that means in my life. And I hope that helps other people watching these videos. And if you like these videos, you can hit like, subscribe, share with someone else. And if you would like to be to celebrate yourself, by all means, go right ahead. Share with me some of the things you're celebrating, because I always think that's fun to see what others are doing too. It doesn't always have to be about me. I am doing the videos, I'm aware of that, but I would still like to know what's going on with other people too. So if you want to celebrate yourself along with me, that would be awesome. And I think that's all I have for today. So I hope you have a great day full of gratitude and maybe do some writing.